Just one thing to bear in mind before we start this tutorial on manual terrain creation that I'm only recording these screenshots at 30 frames per second, so your screen will be a lot smoother. So as I'm looking around the landscape like this, on my screen it's perfectly smooth, but on your screen it's probably a little bit jerky, just due to the frame rate. The spec setting I'm using in this editor is medium spec, and we've just got a 8600 GT NVIDIA graphics card with 512 megs of RAM on board. So it's not a hugely powerful graphics card, but it'll do the job. Okay, manual terrain creation. What we're going to do is come over here to terrain and modify. And what we can do is change the brush type to rise lower. Well, I just keep a height of 2 meters. And I'm going to bring the hardness up a little bit. This is the same as a brush pressure. And bring my outside radius up. You can see the radius on the terrain, but I'm going to come down here underneath the water. And now I'm creating terrain underneath the water. I'm just clicking. And now I've created a nice small island. Okay, I can decide to go over towards this terrain now and start rising this terrain. Or if I set my height, say as a negative number, an integer, say as -2, we can take the terrain down. For example, you might want a little lake in here, and it's quite easy to rise and lower the terrain. Another aspect is flattening. If we look at our height here, I'm just going to query height. So to query height, you hold down the control button and you left click. As you can see, that height I queried is 19 meters. Sea level is roughly 16 meters. It's very good to be able to flatten land for a variety of reasons. Let's say we want a building up here. So I'm going to flatten the land here. I'm going to make the radius bigger. So I'm flattening land at 89 meters. I'll just come up a little bit higher. And as you can see, I've just flattened some land using the flatten tool. I'll just do that one more time. Let's say query height here, left click. And now the height is flattened here. So you'll flatten land if you wish to put a building on board. Okay, I'll just make my radius slightly smaller. So I might decide to place a building here later. At the moment our textures look pretty awful. What we need to do is, for us to walk around and see how big this landscape is, we need to save our work and reload it. And now next time we're able to move around the editor, if you hold down Control G, we can go to game mode. You'll always get a whole lot of errors. It's just obviously part of the software, but it's not going to damage anything. So I'm going to hold down Control G, and now we will be in game mode. I'm just pressing escape because I'm probably going to commit suicide there. Alright, now we are walking around the landscape with our character from Crysis. Alright, if you press F3, function key 3, you can walk around. Function key 1 goes back to third person view, F1 again, third person view.